Hello everyone, welcome back for more Ground Zero.
So, Kenneth, have you ever boarded a cab only to have the cab driver tell you that he doesn't have enough change?
You know, this happens all the time. And usually, all I have on hand is like a $50 note. These days, I just make sure I just check with the driver first. Saves all the drama later, right?
That's a good idea, actually. That would really have saved Stomper Patrick from his unfortunate experience with one particular cabbie.
The story goes, Stomper Patrick took a cab on September 24th and chalked up a bill of just over $7. Unfortunately, he only had three $50 bills on him at the time, and that's where the problem starts.
According to Patrick, the cabbie said she had no change, to which he replied he didn't either. Her next words were shocking. Then we go police station.
Overreaction much? She proceeded to drive out of the car park, which made the Stomper panic. He tried to open the door and she just drove even faster. He got out of the car when she reached a junction and she just, came out to stop him. Although Patrick says that he had no intention of running at the time.
One phone call later and police were at the scene. Patrick explained himself to them and cabbie claimed that he was trying to run up on the bill. Police eventually classified this case as a non-offense dispute.
It kind of does sound a bit like a misunderstanding at the end of the day. He probably scared the driver when he declared that he just had no change. She probably took it to mean that he had no intention of paying for the ride.
Well, most Stompers saw it as the fault of the cabbie for not preparing small change in advance. 998sgyahoo.com said, "That's really ridiculous. It's the taxi driver's full responsibility to ready some small change. Taxi companies just set a rule on this."
Meanwhile, Stomper Don't Talk Rubbish wrote, "Taxi companies should really do something about this. I've heard these $50 change stories a few times before already."
This next story, however, is even more outrageous. A Stomper was riding in a cab with his young son, who suddenly started crying. To his surprise, the cabbie got upset and told him rudely to stop the child from crying.
Well, the cabbie was so unhappy that he threatened to drop the family off halfway. According to him, he had an ear condition and the child was just making it worse.
Unfortunately, he didn't explain the problem in a more friendly manner. His hostile behavior prompted ComfortDelGro to terminate his contract after an investigation found that he was sorely lacking in customer service skills.
Well, Stomper's comments were divided when it came to this case. Some, like Stomper Broomstick, thought it was the cabbie's fault. He wrote, "There's nothing wrong with a child crying. Taxi driver, you were a child once, I'm sure you did cry as well."
Others, like I Sam Baby, sympathize with the driver. He wrote, "I'm one such person who feels very tremendously annoyed when I see a child crying loudly and the parent just sits there and do nothing because, it's natural that babies cry."
Fair enough. However, I still believe both cases could have been resolved amicably if everyone had just been a little bit more patient and a little bit more civil. It just goes to show explaining yourself calmly and clearly beats an aggressive attitude anytime.
I agree, but it takes two hands to clap. Both parties need to be reasonable and present solutions rather than refuse to budge.
Agreed. Up next, Linan, do you love shoes? Does everyone love shoes? The women in the next clip love shoes so much they're willing to start fighting over them.
Stay with us.